Inc. Today we're going to be doing a little fix on the 2004 Chevy Trailblazer. This will be the same for Envoy, Rainier, and pretty much most of the years between, I think they came out in 2002 all the way up to 2009. So make sure you smash the subscribe button, helps my small channel out, thumbs up and notification bell. So we have some other how-to videos already on this, and we'll have one for the shocks and a couple of other things. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to subscribe, and then also comment down below if you have any questions about it. So here's the dilemma that we ran into the other day. Cold weather, went to run the wipers, no go. Now I hadn't put any fluid in this when I got it, so I don't know if it was empty or when this happened exactly, but you know, the first thing is to check and see if you can hear the little motors running. Could hear the little pumps running, so we were good there. So we came into the engine compartment and found our windshield washer reservoir and popped that open, filled it with a gallon of stuff. After about a few minutes, it all ran out on the floor. You're probably thinking, well, what's going on? You could have a cracked piece of tubing, rare. You could have a split windshield washer fluid housing, which is common, and I'll tell you why here in a second. Or you could have any other variation with the pumps and everything. There's a lot of connections. Now, because it was right here, we know that it was only leaking from this area, that we can at least get in here to the apartment. Now, typically, guys, if you live in a cold weather area, just get the winter type fluid all the time and just fill it up so you don't worry about it. If you get the stuff that's made for above 20 degrees and it freezes and you have it full, ice expands and contracts as it melts and gets hot. Of course, we have a lot of cold, and then we all of a sudden get the engine compartment hot. That can split. This is probably an $80 item on Amazon. So if this is your issue, this video will show you how to take that out and replace it. The next thing would be the potential of the pumps. Now, same thing. If you put water in here, please, Lord, don't put water in your windshield washer fluid ever. Ever put water in there. Even if you're out on the road and your windshield's covered and you need to just turn your wipers on and pop a hole in the lid of the water bottle and spray it on the window that way. Do not put water in your windshield washer fluid container. So got underneath here and found out that the pump for the front windshield had actually split in half. Now this could be because of age, could be because of a faulty part, also could be because ice froze in there, and when you turn on that little impeller blade in there that pumps it, it's going to move. Well, if it doesn't have any room to move it, the motors are put together in two pieces. It can easily bust it, and that's what it did. It busted the housing. So I had to order these off Amazon. I got a two set, one new for the back and one for the front, and I will link those down below. They're very inexpensive on Amazon. Now, if you just love OEM parts on stuff like that, you can expect to pay a little bit more. Quality is, who knows, one is better. Now, when it comes to little things like this, I don't mind using repop parts or aftermarket parts. It's fine. So I'm going to show you the tools you need. This will probably take you about 45 minutes. And yes, you can do it, ladies and gentlemen, as long as you have the correct tools, which it doesn't take a lot to get in here, and you have a little bit of patience, you can do it. So first things first, let's get some tools, and I'm going to show you what we need to do. All right, first things first, we have 3 Phillips head screws, one here, one down there, and one right here. So we need to remove the top of the airbox. Now, once we get that, guys, if you haven't replaced your filter, this is a good time to do it. This little intake horn, you can see it has a little groove right there. It has a groove right here. That's where that'll sit when you get back into it. So we'll clean this box up once we get done, but you can set this little bad boy by the cover. We're gonna come over here. I will link this air filter down below. It's kind of an odd one. Now, it's tied in there, so the next thing we need to do, guys, before you can just yank on this, is we need to disconnect our screw here, our electrical connector there, right here, and then there's a little squeeze tab here. So here's what I'll tell you. On older vehicles and most vehicles, most water clamps, or hose clamps, I mean, are, if they're the small one, it's going to be a 1/4 inch. If it's a bigger one, it's going to be like a 5/16 or like an 8 millimeter. Again, it's not exact science. They're not going to be over torqued, so you can grab that. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this bad boy up. And then on these type of connectors, if you see a connector on your car and it has a red tab, yellow tab, anything differentiating this color, and you can't push this down, then this is an extra mechanism right here that needs to be popped up. So usually you can sit there and wiggle it up. I usually use a small flat blade and just kind of give it a little push up. That way it releases this gray tab. I took my flat blade screwdriver. I don't think this thing's ever came off, so it is stiff the first time. And then you can see now we can push this down tab to pull it off. And then what I like to say, guys, is push down on this, push in, and then pull off. Never, ever, ever pull on the wires. So now we got that off, we can set that aside. Now we're gonna loosen this up with our 5/16. You can use a flat blade screwdriver, guys. I know hose clamps have a lot of flat blades. I do not like flat blade screwdrivers. I tend to jack up my hand when I use them. And to be honest with you, as sharp as they are, if you're pushing down or something on it, there's a good chance you could easily bump into something rubber or whatnot. Just loosen it up enough, guys, that you can pull this bad boy off. Now, before you actually pull it off, we need to disconnect this hose down here. And then you can see, let's get a light up in here. You see these little knurled markings here? That's where you're gonna squeeze, and then it should come right off. So we reach around here, and we kind of just wiggle it, and it comes right off. Don't try and pry that with anything but using your fingers in the squeeze thing. It's kind of like a little pill jar. So this is still a little tight, so let's get that loose. All right, so we got that. So now we can come in here and just kind of work that off. And then from here, now you can lift this entire assembly out, and that's how you're gonna change your air filter. Again, I will do a separate little video on how to change your air filter, but we can kind of see this one's kind of grody and it hasn't been changed in a while. Now, don't be sticking your fingers in that port where the little map sensor is. So we're good there. And we come over here and we have two bolts holding that down. There's one way down there. Probably can't see it. Let's see if it wants to focus. There we go. There's that one. And there's that one. Now, those two nuts are 13 millimeters, so you'll take both of those out. Now you can see we have our washer fluid lines running here, and we can also see our motors right there, our pumps, if you will, and we can see our little attachments. So we see we have no extra prongs here for removing them, so we can easily just push down the tab or pull up the tab. Oh, that's right. These ones are lift and pull. So we're going to lift that bad boy up. We want to disconnect these here because they're tied here and here. So there's not a lot of room on them. They both have a lift tab. Now, really can't mess those up. They're not really long enough to go to the other pump. So you really don't have to worry about that. But I just push them back on the side that we're dealing with here. Now the pumps can stay on there while we do this. We're going to pull this whole thing out. So as we pull it up, we just want to feed these little pieces of tubing out this crack. So push one forward or one back and pop those loose. And then we can bring this whole assembly up because we have two more that we have to pull loose. So we can see here we got the same thing. We're going to pop these loose. Doesn't really matter which one's on top, which one's on bottom as you pull them out, but we're going to push them down and pull them out. Now from here, guys, we need to disconnect the pump. Now I would definitely make sure that you don't spend a lot of time trying to tweak this in here. This tubing is not super bendable. Now, because I already pulled these off the other day, these are going to come off pretty easily, but I'd suggest if they're stiff and you can't pull them off, get a pair of needle nose pliers, wrap the tips in electrical tape. You just need a little bit more torque here. Just give them a little twist, not a full twist, just a little tweak to break loose that little goo that they have built in there. So we're going to pull these off. And voila. Now this little clip right here, you can pop it loose with a screwdriver right there in between it. That does have one of the wire harnesses in it. So of course we're going to clean this up real quick, guys, and I'm going to show you the new motors. Now keep in mind, if you tip this up, your fluid will come out here and here. We still have a little bit in reserve, so if you set it on its side to do this, you'll be good there. But while these shitty pumps are still on here, I'm going to go ahead and clean it off so no debris gets inside the tank. Leave our cap on and everything, because we don't want any of this stuff getting in there and potentially jamming it up. But you can see right here that this one split, and I took it apart the other day just to see if I could plastic weld just to get me through the day till the pumps came in. Unfortunately, the plastic is just too thin at that connection, and that's where our main leak is. Now, if you still have a good pump and you don't want to replace both, you can save the one in the other kit. While you're in there, you might as well trade them out, just because, again, these are the original OEM ones. Likely, it's going to be faulting eventually too. So, but if you do have a good one still, you can save it. Best way to check it is if you hear it buzzing and stuff is coming out the tubing in the back or the front, the pump is more than likely still good. All right, like I've always said before, guys, got this cleaned up because I'm a detailer, so I like bringing everything back to it. It's going to get dirty again, but you know what? Why not? You're in here. Also gives you an opportunity to make sure you can see if you need anything else or can see a crack. So these little pumps are pretty easy to come out. They basically just pop out of this thing. These little squeeze clips, you can squeeze them. You can grab them from the back side of the little pump. Now, if you intend on saving one of them, let me get my finger out the way, then you can do that. As you can see, this one's split, has the rubber grommet. That's the little impeller thing. So this one is trash. And then, like I said, you can get a pair of needle nose pliers and just squeeze these lightly to come out. Now, I'm going to change each one individually first. They both have different size connectors, so you shouldn't screw that up. When I come over here, here's the new ones. And it's basically going to be plug and play. Now, they may have included a new grommet, we'll see, or a new seal. So they did come with new little seals. So you'll just work this one out. And let's get that wiped off. Wipe it away from the hole. I don't want any debris in there. And then we're going to take the new one and we're just going to pop that in. And again, like I said, the connectors are unique to each side. So as long as you get the one out of the box that has the same size of connector, you're good. And then it's going to be the same concept. So we're going to push this down in the hole here and snap it in. All right, repeat the procedure for the second side and then we're golden. Now, when you push them in though, do yourself a favor because those little rubber seals seal pretty hard. Make sure you have your valves pointing out, guys, and not pointing this way or inside. Keep them kind of pointed towards this angle. Now, you're just going to basically repeat the procedure to go back in. Now, a note of caution is while you're in there, plug them in before you put everything back together. Turn the key on, don't start it, and see if you have a sprayer now. That way you can stop any problems that you might have had from either a bad connection or anything like that. So we can at least go ahead and put this in and check it out.